So the next speaker I would like to present, Ashman graduated this May in 2018. The next speaker graduated in 2017, and it's Jack Ross right here.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jack Ross, and I'm sure you're going to notice a few themes that are going to come through the presentations this afternoon. One, we all have known each other for a good while and kind of helped each other along the way, but there really are some core principles to moving forward in your entrepreneurial project, and I want to talk about a few of those today. The main one being momentum. Picking up and sustaining momentum as you build your venture is the single most important thing, in my opinion. It's what keeps you moving forward. Before I dig into that, I want to talk a little bit about me. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, in Northern Virginia. I graduated UVA in 2017 with a degree in computer engineering. When I graduated, I started a company called Beanstalk with my brother, and we build automated farms that grow pesticide-free heirloom produce in very large quantities. Earlier this year, we participated in Y Combinator out in Silicon Valley. Shortly after, I was awarded the STEM Catalyst Award by the Virginia Governor, Ralph Northam, for this work at Beanstalk. And this talk is about momentum. And to give some larger context into how I've built, lost, and tried to rebuild momentum throughout my time, I want to go back to 14 years old. When I was 14, everything seemed to work. Things seemed to make sense. I knew what I wanted to do, and it seemed pretty straightforward of how to get there. It started simple. Learn to code. At that time, everyone that I knew that knew how to program was doing phenomenally well, making tons of money. I would learn to code. I would go buy myself the Iron Man Audi R8 car. And shortly after, I would be able to move to Silicon Valley, attend Stanford, and then that would solve all my problems thereafter. I did learn to code, and I published an app on the App Store in their first year of the App Store being open. At that time, apps like Bejeweled or Angry Birds were in the headlines for making millions of dollars with very small teams and even sometimes pretty junior developers. So I thought if I put this out there, I'd have an instant success. In my first week, I think I got 7 downloads, and they were my mom and all of her different devices. But I kept at it, and I actually made a mistake early on. I thought the problem was the product I was building wasn't good enough, so people weren't using it. And I wasted about a year working on that, trying to build a better product, until I actually went out and asked for some help and found a mentor in the DC area who told me that I needed to focus on marketing. And it's pretty clear when that advice took place. And I went from a few downloads a week to a few thousand a day. And I was actually able to buy myself a sports car. It's not an R8, but it is an RX-8, so, close. And I thought everything was going pretty well, until the last part of my journey. Stanford University said, no thanks. And that was a really big bummer. To me, that was the final piece in the puzzle, because I never really thought about what I would do at college or what would come after. It was just getting there was the big step, and then the rest of it would be solved. But this ended up being a really, really good thing. When that happened, I decided to take a step back and try focusing on some things beyond just software. I lived in Kellogg dorms with 2 of my best friends in the world who are actually here today. And started to focus on some different things beyond my venture, of enjoying myself at the university, of having a social life. I pledged a fraternity, and for those of you that are first years, when bid day comes around, you'll see this crazy adventure of bids given and men thrown into the air. But I still wanted to do something after all of this. I wanted to get out there and build something. And so I was approached by a friend of a friend to build what sounded like one of the coolest software products out there to help mentor other people. It's something that resounded with me. And it was an incredible time I was connected with this, what I thought was a very experienced executive, much older than I was. And I lived the life that I thought entrepreneurs did. I had courtside tickets to the Wizards. I was hanging out with people at fancy restaurants and seeing all those cars that I wanted. But we had very different ideas of how to start that company. And I didn't realize at the time how conflicting they were and how big of a problem that is when you're trying to accomplish something that the original founders don't see things the same way. My co-founder wanted to immediately go out, raise money, build out an executive team, and then get some other people to do the product, which in the early days is all there is. I wanted to build the product, but I was junior, and so I went with his approach. And we actually did raise $250,000, but that created more problems than I ever could have foreseen. It created a ton of tension between us. I wanted to focus on certain things. He thought I was just being juvenile. And I actually got diluted out of the company and had some very difficult conversations, and the company ended up dying in a fiery crash. And that was a really hard lesson. And to me, it brought me back to maybe I'm doing things wrong. Maybe I'm missing the mark here. This feels like my fault because this isn't where I want to be. And so I found some advice that you've already heard today, which is you're the average of the people you spend the most time with. And I actually met Alex very early on in my time at UVA, and we used to talk about this all the time, of how we could make this more built into this community. And for me, who I wanted to become was a founder who had the ability to build a great team, build a great product, bring things to market. And so that meant I need to surround myself with people who are doing that. And so I looked in town, and I wanted to see who was making a big splash in Charlottesville. And at my second year at the university, the biggest startup that I could find was Willow Tree. They're still headquartered here in Charlottesville, and they're much larger than they were when I started there. But I wanted to go work there and figure out how things actually worked in the real world. And it was the best decision I could have made. I was fortunate enough to actually get to work with the founder there, Michael Pritchard. And he showed me the time from the very beginning of that company, how awful it is in those early days, but how great things can become. And you have to keep that in mind, and you have to keep your wits about you. And his biggest thing is if it's not fun, it's not worth it. And so he made everything he did a ton of fun, and it attracted a lot of people, and he was able to solve some really incredible problems. And so I took that to heart, and I said, I need to have other people around me that I have a ton of fun with. And so here we've got, many of the speakers today. My friend Chris Cody, who, Chris, are you out there? I think he's actually jet skiing in North Carolina right now. But this group of people, nothing is impossible. And I like to think that on a good day, I believe that, but you don't always have good days. And so the biggest thing that this group does is we increase each other's momentum. It's very easy to be stopped by yourself. Think about if you've taken calculus. Think about if you tried to do that outside of school. You might not have finished that textbook, but you were in a setting where there were so many other people moving forward that the momentum of the entire group pushed you through to finish that lesson. And so when I eventually found something that I really wanted to dig into, I had this amazing group, and I already had some great momentum. And so things happened very quickly. I started Beanstalk just after graduation. I went full-time actually the day after I graduated. And it's been roughly a year since my brother and I started this company. To give you a little bit of background, once again, we build automated indoor farms in very large warehouses to service city-scale food needs. But in the past year, we went from winning a grant and joining the iLab to building our first prototype, to building a more advanced robotic version of that prototype, and then to the largest scale project that we're undertaking right now, building these massive towers that will grow several thousands of pounds of food a month. And because we were part of this group that had incredible momentum, who we speak with every single day and in a formal way every other week, we were able to talk about all the things that we were doing and where we could improve and how we could move faster, and hear from them about how they're doing, which is just as important because it keeps you in high spirits. And those high spirits will keep you moving forward. So I really do hope that you involve yourself in this community and you try to find a group that will keep you moving forward and keep you in high spirits, because that's the only way you're going to get through it. If there's anything I can do to help anyone to be a part of this community, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk about whatever's on your mind. Thank you so much.